Well, the rest of the herd has disappeared and Fang is all by herself and is still not looking well. She's now all of a sudden just seemed to perk up, but she's been sitting in the exact same spot the entire time we've been standing here and has been kind of up and down and lying down and really hasn't looked great. But now all of a sudden she's up and moving as though nothing is wrong. So I'm not sure what's going on with her at the moment, but definitely is not 100%, and it is concerning. I don't like seeing animals in distress in any way, and it worries me a little bit because she is such a huge part of this whole Safari Live family, and I know many of you have watched her many times, and she's such a beautiful animal that it can be a bit distressing, and I'm, like I say, a bit concerned about her, and we've definitely let everybody know that should know that there is this sort of symptoms playing out, and we'll see what they say, because this time of the year you can sometimes get sort of anthrax that can come out because of the spores that are hidden in the ground, and it sometimes does happen with an elephant getting it, so you can see it from time to time, but I don't know if it's that. She doesn't seem that bad, but it's still not 100%, that's for sure. Now I'm going to try and just get way ahead of her and then turn off. She seems all of a sudden to be quite sprightly though. So, Lisa, you're wondering what she could eat to make her tummy better. Well, it's unlike humans where they can just kind of go and get something to sort of nibble on or some sort of food item. It really is not that easy for them. So you'll find that sometimes they just try and get plain leaves or grass. They'll also sometimes even eat soil. There's microbes in soil and varying sort of nutrients that they don't get from a lot of other things that can help. But isn't that beautiful with the sort of sunset in the background? That's very pretty. She all of a sudden seems much better though. She seems to be moving a lot more. At one point she almost looked a bit wobbly on her feet, but now she seems to be striding and is almost back to her sort of normal confident self, which is quite something. Now I'm going to just try and reposition us again because of the light that we've got on her over her shoulder there. It's very pretty. Now the rest of her herd just disappeared off into this area here on our left hand side, so it's almost like she's realized the herd has now drifted away and that she's going to try and catch up with them. But there's another young bull over here, so let's see how this sort of interaction goes. He's coming back towards where she is. There's been lots of grumbles that have been going on and she's been calling quite a bit, and I wonder if the herd might not turn and come back towards where she is. But here we go. So she's just under the marula tree at the moment. Hello boy. Are you going to go and see what's going on with Fang? So Izzy, you're wondering how big is Fang's herd in numbers? Well, earlier I was trying to count them, and I was busy doing it when Fang unfortunately started to show that she wasn't well, so I didn't get it the whole way, but I think there should be around just over 30 of them in that herd. So well, next time we see the whole herd out in the open, we'll have to count them for you to make 100% sure, but somewhere around there. Now if it wasn't for the fact that Fang wasn't feeling very well, that would be one of the most beautiful pictures ever. The two sort of elephants under that sunset in a big marula tree. It really is a very special picture. Now let's see the interaction between these two. Jean-Andre, I'm going to try just go forward a little bit so that you don't have that bush in your way. Now you see he's busy sniffing her as well, just trying to see and work out. And you can actually, there's a really cool picture of just how big Fang actually is. Look at her size. The male's on the left, and that's not a particularly young male. That male's probably already in his 20s. He's a big boy, but you can see she's a similar sort of size. And look how he's smelling her. Now she is dribbling from... look at that. That's interesting. Maybe she is having a miscarriage. You see, look, she's dribbling from... There we go. And he's busy smelling it. And it's a clear liquid. There we go. You can see. I wonder if there's a little bit of blood in there as well. Maybe she is having a miscarriage. It's possible. Earlier it looked like it was coming from below her tail, but she's definitely dribbling from there. And you can see, look, she's now smelling where she's just urinated or dribbled from. And now she's picking up dust, and it looks like she might spray it under her tummy. You see that? This is the most interesting behavior. I have never in my life witnessed it before, and I honestly cannot tell you what it could be. It really is quite strange. What is wrong, girl? What is going on? She's not pregnant enough to be giving birth, that's for sure. The male seems to be sniffing it and becoming almost aroused by this all, which is quite strange. And look at the dust, the gold dust as well. Like I say, if it wasn't for the fact that the sort of symptoms are worrying and that she looks a little uncomfortable, it would be probably one of the most magical elephant scenes I've had in a long time. There's that setting sun in the background. But she seems like she's okay now. She's definitely walking a lot better than what she was earlier. Let's see. It would be a massive turnout for but there you go. See, it's still leaking from her anal area as well. I'm not 100% sure what is going on with her. The bull is definitely intrigued by her as well. You see, look how he's smelling wherever she's discharged. What's going on? Like I said, I have no idea, but it is slightly concerning to say the least. We often become so vested in these animals, and it's sometimes very difficult to watch these kind of things where you see an animal that's not quite right and you can't understand what's going on. Obviously we can't speak to them and they can't speak to us, and it becomes very difficult to know what actually is going through that elephant's mind, or whether or not this could be something that is very serious. And like I say, I'm not a vet, so for me, I don't know if those kind of symptoms are anything to worry about, or if it's just something that will pass. And with her, I've just never seen it before, and that's where it becomes a bit worrying. So H. Macy, you say if something happens to the matriarch, is there a next in line? Yes, there will most definitely be. So there will be another senior female that will lead the herd around and take her around and show what goes on, and she will have learned from that matriarch. So it will definitely happen that another one will pull into it and fill into that area. So you'll see that that's not too much of a stress for the herd. Obviously the herd would go through a period of quite a lot of stress just in that situation where they lost the matriarch, because it'll be a massive change for them and they rely quite heavily on the matriarch at times. And so it will definitely be a little bit of a stressful period, but there will be another female that will take over and become the matriarch of that particular herd. Now, if they go into this thicket on the left, I'm going to leave her there because I don't want to go crashing around her and stressing her any more than she is. The rest of the herd is just feeding off to our left here. They're all in the thicket here, so she's going back to where the herd is, which is where she needs to be, particularly if she's not feeling well. You don't want her to be sort of harassed by any sort of predator. And if she goes back into the herd section and it's not very sort of, and it gets too thick, I'm going to leave her there and let her just carry on with her day. I don't want to stress her in any way. But the bull is kind of right behind her the whole time. He's just on my left hand side here, and so is she, and the rest of the herd is just behind them. I can actually see most of the herd behind them as we speak. So I'm just going to go around. There we go. It's okay, girl. It's okay. What's wrong? She's come right up next to the side of the car, so I'm just getting quite quiet because I don't want her to feel like we're challenging her in any way. But she's definitely been leaking quite a bit all afternoon because she's got lots of fluid. It almost looks like a male in must. But isn't this incredible? We've got her in front, the young male to our left, who's going to come into picture now. Okay, guys. I'm really not sure what's going on with her. Shame, my girl, you're not feeling well. I'm trying to see if there isn't maybe a wound somewhere on her, but I can't see now. She is, like I say, the bull is right here as well, so you just behave yourself because you're being naughty chasing her. Stop chasing her around. And he's far too young to mate, so it's not one that we have to worry about. But she's now coming around the back of us. So she's now going back towards her herd, which is actually the best thing that could have happened. I'm quite glad that she's come around this side and she can then maybe head back towards where her herd is. Now what could have happened as well is she might have had a miscarriage earlier, and this is just the body's response now. So we're just seeing the back end of it, and that's why she's still a little bit sort of... No, leave her alone, you naughty bull. You can see she's trying to get away from the bull elephant, and she almost comes to us every time. Leave her. No, I don't know what his problem is. Leave her alone. Come on. It's okay, my girl. She is right next to us as well now. They're just kind of doing this sort of circular motion around us at this stage, and I actually have no idea why. maybe he's just really interested in what's wrong with her, but this is the most unbelievable thing. To have these elephants kind of just going circular motions around us really is super interesting. It's okay, girl. She's dribbling again. Leave her alone. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. See, he's smelling her urine again. So he's trying to see if she's possibly in heat. Look, there we go. He's smelling on the ground. You can see there. You see he's got his trunk down and sniffing where she just dribbled. Now I wonder if she's... maybe she's coming into heat as well. I don't know. Girl, what's going on? But I feel like we are part of this whole thing now. They are really kind of on both sides of us at the moment. Are you okay, my girl? This is one of the most incredible interactions I've ever had with an elephant. You've got, like I say, a bull on one side, a female on the other, and they are within meters of this car. They are really, I would say, a meter on either side, and they are actually throwing dust all over themselves, and we are being covered in it. This is so interesting. But I'm just glad that she's able to use us almost as a barrier between him and her at this stage. I just don't want him to harass her too much. I know that's a selfish thing to say, and we shouldn't be like that, but I also don't want to move too much. They both are so close to us at the moment that any sort of movement might cause a bit of a fluster amongst them, and I don't want her to feel any more stressed than she probably already is. The interesting part about all of this is I'm watching her temporal glands, and the entire time where we've been with her, her temporal glands are not leaking, which means that she's not emotionally stressed. So that tells me that she maybe knows what's going on with her, and she's been through this before, and that she's not actually showing a visible sort of stress sign, which is really interesting. What's wrong, my girl? Are you okay? I can honestly say this is one of the most special moments that I have ever been in. To sit with a female that is this close. Female elephants generally are not this relaxed around you and allow you to get this close. So for her to sit as close as she is right now, and for her to be in this sort of more compromised state and to be able to spend time right next to her, it is a feeling that I can't really describe to you. And I don't know about any of you, but maybe this is a good time for some of you to have a one-word tweet as to what you would feel if you were in this situation and you had this beautiful female right next to you and sort of didn't know what was going on. I think my one word would be just uncertainty. While this is the most amazing thing I've experienced, it's just I'm so uncertain as to what's going on. I don't know what her issue is. But I am so intrigued by this whole process, as well as kind of a bit worried, really, to be honest with you. And so a lot of you are wondering if she's asking us for help. Well, no, she's not asking us for help. She's just using us as a barrier. You see, every time the bull moves, she moves with him. So she's coming around, and we almost like this little barrier between her and the male itself. So she's using us much like she would use a tree in this essence. So she's not asking us for help. Earlier when we were parked with her, she didn't come close to us at all. So I'm trying not to move too much. So if I'm just sitting at an awkward angle and not looking the right way, I do apologize. She's just so close that if I shift in my seat, I don't want to give her a fright. But I don't think she's asking us for help. She's not putting her trunk out towards us in any way. She's not in any way being sort of showing any visual cues other than that she's just watching the male. So where the male moves, she moves the opposite of that. My girl, what's going on? You are a very special elephant, you know that. Sure, this is one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been a part of. Wow. Are you okay? This is incredible. Sometimes just to sit quietly next to them is probably more value right now than me going and talking. So I'm going to keep quiet for a little bit and just listen to the herd. I'm hoping they're going to start talking to one another because the herd is approaching slowly. she's definitely not emotionally charged, because like I say, she wouldn't be right near us like this. She also would be leaking heavily from that temporal gland, which she's not. So I have no idea what's going on with her. Look how she's curled her trunk up. Oh, she's just dropped it now, but she has curled it up next to her. See, now the male's coming around again. So you see now she moves to the other side of us again. But look at her sun sort of dust bathing. And this amount of dust bathing is also uncommon for an elephant. She's been doing it all afternoon. So I don't know quite what the situation is. Now the male's coming around again. You just leave her alone. Stop it now. It almost looks like a female that's in must in a way. You can see dribbling again. What's going on? Are you worried about this? She comes again. Now go to your herd. The rest of the females are there. They'll look after you. Come on. Off you go. Go to your herd. Okay. You two just behave yourselves now. But that is about as close as it will ever get to a female elephant. And okay, you can't sit here. Don't sit here, Michael. I'm just trying to let her have sort of her space and not move around too much. It's the male that's causing her distress at this stage, because he's just following her all over the place. But they really are, like I say, right around us at the moment. You stay there. Behave yourself. Stop being naughty. Now, the reason why I'm not worried about him giving us too much trouble is because he's a young male. So if I shout at him and give him a bit of a talking to, he will go away, because he's still concerned about us. You can see every now and then he gets sort of a bit flustered by the fact that I'm here. And so I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about her feeling that she's being too stressed out by all of this, but she's definitely using us like she would use a tree. It's the exact same process. Yes, go that way. There we go. That's it. Well done. Clever girl. There we go. There's the rest of your herd. Go and spend time with them. They'll look after you. There we go. Now the bull's on his way towards her, but the rest of the herd is there, and I'm hoping the other females don't tolerate this bull's nonsense and they push him away a little bit. Wow, what an amazing experience that was. I honestly can't tell you how incredible that was. That is probably one of the most special sightings I've ever had in my life. I've never, ever experienced anything like that. That was unbelievable. But we're going to try and just see what plays out here, and I'm going to try and see if we can follow them a little bit. We'll put the infrared lights on so we don't disturb them, and while we do that, it's time for Brent to say his goodbyes. So let's go across all the way to the Mara for Brent to say goodbye.